So, we all know deep down that you can't learn a language in a week. But why do we watch all those YouTube videos that claim that this is so? Is it because we want to prove that it isn't? Hi, my name's Juliet, and I'm in the process of learning Italian. So, those titles are all clickbait, obviously, because no one can learn a language that quickly, unless they're an AI being fed thousands of pieces of information every second. Even then, we know how good AI translation is, don't we? Google Translate, anyone? Okay, it's getting better, but it's not there after how many years? You can't truly learn a language in 3 months either, but you can get a lot further. If all you want to do is to go to the place and be able to say a few easy phrases, interactions in cafes, restaurants, asking directions, that kind of thing, then you'll probably be okay by then. But anything more, and you'll probably be struggling. Why do they make these claims? Because everyone is obsessed with getting to that nebulous goal of fluency without taking into consideration how much information their brain can take in, process and retain every day, or how much time they need to dedicate for this to be successful. Let's take that last one first. I've been learning Italian for just over 4 months now, and I am a lot further along than I thought I would be. But I have been putting in the time. I spend about half an hour over breakfast each day using Duolingo. Then I'll have another Duolingo session late afternoon that might be anything from about half an hour to an hour, because the lessons these days take a lot longer than they did at the beginning. I'll also spend some time reading and other time watching or listening to YouTube, usually videos, podcasts, all in Italian. Plus, I listen to Italian radio first thing in the morning and last thing at night. In total, it's probably close to 3 hours per day, and more at the weekends. But as you can see, a good portion of that isn't actually studying, which is what I'd call using Duolingo. It's just immersing myself in the language in one form or another. As far as what your brain can take in, well, I believe the more variety in what you're doing, the easier it is for your brain to consume more. It would be difficult to spend 3 hours per day literally just studying, doing those Duolingo lessons one after the other. But with adding in those other things such as listening and reading, well, maybe not reading. That can be quite tiring. The other things are less intense, or maybe just different, and let me learn more without completely frazzling my brain. You don't have the time to do all that? Did I say you had to? I don't think I did. You need to do as much as you can within the constraints of your life, but you might need to be creative with how you achieve that. You can read, watch, or listen while you're commuting to work, while you're doing the dishes, or cooking dinner, or gardening, or while everyone else is watching the TV if you have a decent pair of headphones. The only thing that you'll need to set aside is a specific time each day when you can do your actual focused studying. I think it's probably better if it's the same time each day because that gets you into a habit. That might be as little as 15 minutes, although I think probably a good half an hour is better. More if you can. Finally, don't forget sleep. When you're asleep is when your brain processes all the information you've learned that day and puts it in the little slots in your brain where it intends to keep it. If you want your language learning to be in your long-term memory, you need some decent sleep. Miss out on sleep and your learning won't go so far. Plus, you'll also be tired. Even with all the things I'm doing, I'd be surprised if I'm fluent by the end of the year. You should be too. Reach for those stars, but don't expect that wishing on one will make it any easier. See you again soon.